Welcome back to From 9 to Mom,
where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood.
and we are joined by my mom on the podcast finally. Miss Nancy is on with us.
Hi, Nancy. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
We've been talking about it. We threw it on her like last month. I go, oh yeah, my mom's going to come on for the Mother's Day episode. And she's like, am I?
I am? Okay.
Look, it worked. It happened. And we're excited to get to know a little bit more about your journey as a mom with Catie.
Right.
But before we get into the deep questions, can you just give us a little bit about you as a mom? How old were you? How did this come about? Maybe the Papa Mike Nancy story. Like, tell us a little bit about you guys.
Yeah, I think for our family, I was actually I think a young mom, which in days when Mike's mom had kids, she was a young mom. But I was married at 21 and had a little trouble conceiving at first.
Okay.
I had Stephanie at 23, Catie at 25, and then Michelle, I was 28. And that was our full circle of
We were all
babies.
magically almost exactly the same age apart.
Yeah.
So like I'm March birthday, Steph's July, and Michelle's August.
Right.
It's almost exactly 2.5 months.
So it wasn't really
Or
planned that way.
2.5
And
years.
yeah. And I will say, with the 3 kids, everybody's like, oh, what made you think of one more? And it's not that we were going for a boy or anything.
I was going to ask.
We were not, we thought we had room for one more. So.
No, Michelle was meant to be a Michael.
Yeah, Michael. Baby Michael. That's why you named her Michelle, right?
Right. If she was a boy, she was going to be Michael. And if she was a girl, it was Michelle. So, and then her middle name is Lee after Mike's dad's middle name. So, yeah. So the names are all perfect. They're for a reason, put it that way. Yeah.
Okay, so you named each kid with purpose.
Yes.
We all have a hand-me-down name of some
right.
sort.
Catherine.
Right, Catie, who's yours?
So mine's after on my dad's side, my great-grandmother's there, and I'm very thankful that my parents picked the names they did. So it was Ida, Catherine, and Elta May were my great-grandmothers. So they took both my grandmother's middle names and made my full name.
That makes sense. That's good. I would agree with that choice.
That's why I'm Catherine with a C.
Right. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, we couldn't give her Elta.
Yeah, that
or
would have been
Ida.
not great for me.
I'm like,
you could have. I just don't see you as like Ida. I feel like that would be like, I picture you with a bonnet, like working the farm. I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did.
Yeah.
But
where did Steph's name?
Well, Stephanie, I just loved that name. I like, she was our princess. Okay. After a lot that we went through, we finally had our little baby and she was a princess. But the Ann is from her grandmother's middle names.
Yeah.
My mom and Mike's mom's middle name is Ann.
Yeah.
Did you, if you don't mind me asking, you had trouble in the beginning because my mom was like talking about her journey, but did you have trouble getting Catie and Michelle, or was it just that first time?
Just the first one. And then, the first one, Catie came along. She was no problem there. Michelle, I had trouble before. And just basically miscarriage. That's all.
Yeah.
It wasn't
interesting.
Right. It wasn't like I had to I didn't have to do, IVF or anything like that. It's just, and everybody's just saying it was about just my body. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I've had 3 beautiful children.
That's what I was going to say. You guys are all loved and wanted so much, obviously. I love that.
We tell Michelle she's a mistake.
I know. They get her going all the time. And I'm like,
well, this is proof, Nancy. Put it on the record. She was not a mistake. She was very planned.
Yeah, she's very planned. Yes.
So you had kids young, and Catie and I always talk about this because Catie, you were young, but for our day and age, but not for your guys' day and age. What did motherhood look like when Catie was little for you? Like, what did it feel like? Yeah.
Right. It was, my husband was working a lot when they were little. That changed as the years went by. So different company and, owning his own business at the time. So we could be around a lot more, but I was the one that I was home every day, taking care of them, setting up schedules. It's very much what Catie does now. But as a full-time working mom.
Yeah.
So I was their caregiver. So I was home a lot. We were new to the area, even though we're from an hour. Well, where Catie is now. This is where we're from, both from Brockport, New York. But we live in Brockport, which is an hour. I didn't have a support system there of people, just getting to know people, no family. So I was home constantly. So it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, we just had our schedules. We tried to get out, do everything you guys do now. There's so many much more like places to bring the kids. We didn't have that. I went to the library for storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, try to get to know some of the neighbors because there were some younger neighbors. And from there, I mean, I would be going to the grocery store at 11 o'clock at night if I needed to. That was my time out.
Honestly, the peaceful time, right?
Yeah, I saw this. Somebody like, oh, this is your vacation.
No DoorDash?
No DoorDash.
Instagram?
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, making a list and going to the grocery store at 11 o'clock at night. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
And I think it's funny because we were always in activities. So like from when I remember from being really little, we got right into
dance, soccer.
We will have to talk about my dance because I'm sure Danielle wants to hear about.
I definitely do.
Tried karate.
I did.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. And, you know, but I mean, it wasn't even like money wise, frugal wise, you know, for me to stay home at the time. It just, it worked for our family. It doesn't work for every family. For me to go to work, and I mean, it just would not, it didn't work for us. I don't mean that in a bad way. So like, I applaud Catie and both my other two daughters for their careers, and they're good at it. They're good at both being a mom and being out in the business world.
Yeah, I love that. And Catie and I don't know if Katie's told you, but my mom was home with us too for the same reason. My dad owned his own business, and it was just challenging. And I feel like we do, Catie, you could say it to your mom, but I do appreciate what you guys did then for us so that we could be in all the activities and do all those things and have the upbringing that we did. What was your biggest, since we're on the topic, what was your biggest challenge with that?
With that, it's just being home and trying to get to meet other people. I think that was there wasn't the networking like what you guys have now. So again, it was just getting to know the neighbors a little bit, or going to the library and seeing these other mothers and trying to connect that way. Or like, hey, can I have your phone number? And
it's like
you didn't really have cell phones, so you're calling landline.
That's so true. I never think about that. I do remember, obviously, the phone lines and trying to get on the internet and the whole disruption. But
I don't use landline anymore. But like, I have.
It's true though, but I think it's so crazy to think about that because if I had to call somebody's landline to do, I wouldn't have any friends because I just wouldn't put the effort in.
And it was harder. I mean, I tried to get to know the neighbors a lot. I don't even know if Catie remembers this, but I sold Avon. Do you know
what?
Yes,
I
did that in a sense to get to know the neighbors, and I thought I could make a little extra money. But I ended up meeting some really cool people down the street, and you're going door to door.
That's what I was going to ask. You're literally knocking, right?
Well, you leave the booklets in their mail carrier, in the newspaper one, and hopefully they call you. Yeah. On the landline.
That is wild. So you met your friends by knocking on doors for Avon. I love it. Avon friendships.
Met the neighbors. Yeah.
I remember too, you started that mom soccer league.
Oh yeah. Yeah. After Catie was,
we were a little older.
Yeah. They were all playing at the Keenan Center, which is I don't know, it's like the TSC, whatever.
Just like the soccer complex.
Yeah. Big. And, I coached all the girls, and I did that for the reason that when you coached them, they don't do this anymore. They played for free. So that was a plus. Right?
Yes.
But as they got a little older and they could go home and dad would watch them at night, I started a mom soccer league that we played. It was an indoor, smaller field.
Yeah, but that's brave and awesome at the same time.
Well, I just wanted to be non-competitive. Some of the ladies were, but I
was going to say non-competitive.
And
in the Hale family?
I know.
I can imagine, because I know me now, like if I went back to play after
Katie would be
kids,
one of the competitive ones in there. And I'd say, listen, tone it down.
Sometimes I'm not competitive. I don't play right now. This is the longest I've ever gone without playing, but I don't know.
Because Nancy, you played too in school, right? Like that was your sport.
Yeah, that was my sport. I ran track just to try to keep up with my older brother a little bit. I did the hurdles, if that even makes sense. Because
she's 5'2".
I'm right. I'm
really impressed right now. I had no idea.
No, and so
you get hobby horse now. That's the new hurdles.
I played this quick game with a friend of ours last night. I go, all right, ask me questions about me from when I was in school. Like, what clubs do you think I was in? What activities? And he's like, you were probably in the yearbook committee. I'm like, oh yeah. And I was class president one time. Oh yeah, I did all that. And he goes, and you were a cheerleader. I slapped his arm. And I'm like, wrong. I wasn't a cheerleader, but I played soccer, but it was funny because I'm like, you think you know somebody, but
But a lot of soccer players were cheerleaders, and like,
right.
So we have the same. I know, Catie, it's not a sport. Nancy, you're going to agree. As we
I
know,
know.
I'm a cheerleader.
We have been trained by a cheerleader before your
Yes.
time.
Thank you.
Heather out there would slap us both, I think, if we said that. She has proven time and time again that cheerleading is a sport.
And what does Dad say about a sport? Do you remember what he says?
Oh, yeah. My dad always is like, if you have to have special shoes for the sport, then it's a sport.
That is such a good way to say it. Like, if you have to go buy special shoes, and I always laughed because I was like, I had more injuries than my brothers being a cheerleader. But I think that the like personalities are the same. Like you said, and Catie, now I'm laughing because I didn't know that about you, Nancy, that you did yearbook, student body president. Catie and I always talk about we were like that. You just were a small version of your mom, Catie.
Yeah.
I love that. So what was your proudest moment as a mom?
Oh, just seeing them grow and mature and seeing them their different activities. Like, I'll just say, because Katie's right here, when I could see her in soccer go up and talk to an adult, a ref, a coach, and the maturity level, like in college even, Mike and I would just be sitting there and like, okay, we're ready for the game and watching the game. But look at her going up and she knows the referee from her high school days, remember?
Yeah.
And she's just going up and talking like an adult.
Yeah.
With any of my girls that, Stephanie, the way that she can speak up and defend herself or take care of herself, and Michelle, she's funny as can be at times. So around it on our family, their maturity. That just makes me proud as a mom that I don't have to sit there and correct them. Like,
that should make you proud.
Well, because now that we're parents, we can start understanding those feelings a little bit of when you see, because like when Jack does something, I'm like, that's really cool.
What did you just tell me this morning?
Yeah, the
counting
number blocks. So Danielle, Jack can count to 100.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, all the way by himself, like with no prompts.
Little genius.
Thank you, number blocks. That's if you take anything away from today's episode, get your kid watching Number Blocks on Netflix or YouTube. So yesterday he was our babysitter, and she cut up the cheese cubes into little blocks so he could stack them and count. And he was eating them. So
this is so cute. He's gonna be a little mathematician.
Well, that's what. So now we're like, because everyone's always like, my kid's so smart and whatever. And so we,
not everyone
knows that's an end of kindergarten thing that they try to work towards. And we're like,
I know. Remember Colton into kindergarten? I can count to 100 really easy. 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. I mean, do you see the difference?
Two types of kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work smarter, not harder.
Right? Oh yeah, that's one in our.
No, that's really impressive though, and you're like really proud of that, right? And I can see like how that happens. But like that being said, because it's gonna segue into a question that's not on here, but Nancy, I have to ask because you have 3 girls, and we talked to my mom about this. Catie and I always talk about boy mom, girl mom, whatever. 3 different kids, 3 different personalities, like. What was it like with 3 girls in the house? Like 3 different personalities. Give us a little bit of like insight into that.
Well, Stephanie was quieter, but she would just giggle at everything. So if Catie did something wrong or Michelle, she would be not like, Mom, come here. It's just like the giggling. I knew what's going on, girls. Yeah, I know. So then and then with Catie, she was just, you're so calm all the time with everything. So I never knew what was going on, like something.
I have a calm personality.
You do. And then, if the girls, I don't know if you remember Polly Pockets.
Oh, yes, of course.
So when the 2 older ones are playing Polly Pockets, I would have to put the gates on the doors to the bedroom because Michelle wanted to go in there. So Michelle was the one climbing over the gate, climbing on the tables, anything. I have the cutest pictures of you guys playing with the beads the one time, making necklaces. And Michelle's just in her little diaper. They were up in taller stools, and Michelle's straddling the stools, one and one.
That makes sense to me.
So, so if this is anything, I mean, Steph she's just silent but deadly. One of my friends said that about Stephanie because she's quiet, but she's a lawyer. She's an attorney. Like,
observer.
You don't want to cross her. Like, she's good. She's really good at what she does. And then Katie's like, well, I can solve this. Like, no, he's bleeding. It's okay. Just get him a Band-Aid. And then I'm more like Michelle. We're like all over the place. Like, what? Who's hurt? You need a Band-Aid? What? And, so it's just the quickness.
I think too, the funny thing is like, even though we were an all girl household, we were in sports.
Oh yeah.
Like all three of us different for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, but like we did, even Steph did sports.
Right.
Like we were heavily in that. And dance didn't last longer than how long?
I don't even know.
We were out of dance pretty quick.
Let's talk about dance. Let's go down that path while you brought it up. Tell me more about Catie the ballerina.
That picture, I can't believe that's the one picture she picked.
I had to, because it's like not me at all.
Okay, first of all, she never wore pink. She hated dresses. She was my Gap girl. She wore every.
I wore boy clothes till like Gap, 4th grade.
Well, we had every color of Gap t-shirt.
Well, at least you were like in Gap. Like that's pretty. Like I'm impressed.
Sweatpants and sambas, which are all coming back now. They're all the craze.
Still have.
She knew then.
Sambas, and if she wore dresses, it was because her grandmother, Mike's mom, bought them for her, and she would bring them back from Florida. And I had to put the girls in them. I don't know what I was thinking, but there's many pictures. And because her mom, dad's mom did not have girls, so she wanted to dress little girls. They were cute. Got all their pictures that we got.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but they only wore them for the pictures.
Looking back at pictures, though, I feel like we were pretty well dressed. Like we were all matching a lot.
I don't even know. I must have been like Kmart. I don't even know where I got the clothes. Oh, yeah.
That's like the thing about you guys, because that's my mom too. We always matched. And you guys were 23 years old. My mom was 23 when she had me too. Obviously, money's tight. And we looked like we came out of catalogs. I'm like, how did you do this? She's like...
Yeah, we didn't have Amazon.
Right? McCurdy's, that's where my mom always like splurged.
I used to let the girls dress themselves sometimes too. And I know the one picture, I just still look at it. And Stephanie was still taller at the time, but she's wearing the bike shorts that were short. And you're wearing the bigger ones. And I'm like, what was it? Did you guys get the wrong ones? I'm like, so much for the bins of pictures that are in our basement.
Yeah, Catie, I'm just picturing you like, we could not have been more different as little kids, I feel like, because I wouldn't wear pants until 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I was just like super into.
But did you like dance?
I don't remember like hating it, but I wanted to be good. I feel like this was a theme at a lot of the things I did. If I wasn't the best one, I don't think I wanted to do it.
Right. It just, yeah. I didn't care if the girls were great. They weren't going to turn out to be ballerinas, but just to get out there. And Catie was very shy little girl, shy little girl. I had a hard time getting her to do anything at times. So
look at you, the growth.
Yeah, right. So just getting her out there doing all that. That's why, you say proudest moment again. I'm like, just seeing how she can apply herself to everything now, and her like doing this podcast. That was not
be a chatter.
Yeah. But I feel like you said we put people in things. You guys had them in everything, gave them an opportunity. But did you tell her she could leave dance, or Catie, were you like, I'm not dancing, Mom?
I think I was too young for us even.
Yeah, I just said we finished it out, and we're not. I don't like them to quit things and just like walk away from it, because then it's gonna be the next thing. They're gonna do the same thing, and that's a life lesson of just like, you don't get to pick and choose sometimes when you have to do a work project or you have to apply yourself.
Yeah, we didn't ever quit. We
never quit either. That was not allowed. So I did finish out my soccer seasons.
Yeah. Well,
just like you finished out your dance season.
I use one thing that dance helps them with is because dance makes you use your right foot, left foot. So when Catie applied that to soccer, she was the first ones out there, not just dribbling with her right foot the whole time. She's doing right foot, left foot, and because it gets both sides of your brain working, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Didn't we just talk to somebody, or I did talk to somebody yesterday, and that has little kids, and because Colton's tried gymnastics too, right?
Yeah, he's a ninja, because if I want him to be coordinated, like more coordinated
for them when they're little.
That's the best part of it. Is
athletes take dance, like real professional athletes take dance. If you watch Dancing with the Stars, all the winners are football players because they all took ballet for the exact reason, Nancy, that you said. They learn how to use both sides of their brain. They learn how to be agile across the field. So we know that dance would get you so far in your soccer career, Catie.
They all did it. And they all had, Father's Day weekend was usually the recital. So Mike hated it because he couldn't go golfing. Watch 3 little girls and give them flowers. But we did it. Yeah.
It's funny to think about that though. Like looking at it now, because my dad had three brothers, so he came from all boy household, came into all girl household.
He's a good girl dad, though.
Yeah,
he's really good girl.
Yeah,
dad.
he always watched our fashion shows.
Oh yeah,
yeah. My dad, like, I think that dads like who had only brothers, because my dad had two brothers. Like, my dad picked out my wedding dress, my prom dresses with me. Like, they just learned to be more patient. Like, I don't know how it happens.
You talk about the fashion shows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell me a little more about your fashion. Who was the most fashionable, though?
This is what we would do.
Yeah, who is the most fashionable?
You all were, who strutted themselves the most?
Yeah.
When Michelle's wore. So we would go clothes shopping. And I'm, again, really frugal on all that, because money is money without, they're not going, you weren't going to Hollister and buying $100 jeans. That wasn't the budget for three girls. So that when I would buy things, we would plan outfits, and we say, what would you wear this with? And then we'd tell Mike when he gets home, like, honey, go sit in the sunroom. Here's a beer. Here's a couple beers. The girls.
Here's a couple beers. Prepare yourself, please.
Literally, I can't even imagine how many beers my dad would drink sitting there. Probably, like, I'm thinking now as an adult, like sitting there, be like, you'd be watching your three daughters come out in, like, we would like rotate Danielle like out of our rooms, like who would do the fashion
showing their jeans and their new tops,
the new sneakers for the.
Oh my gosh!
I go with it. I think Mike in his head was go like dollar signs going at first, but I'm like, listen, I only shop. I'm a very frugal shopper. It's a deal. I gave him the receipt first, so he doesn't like go crazy.
Are you still a deal shopper? Because my mom was a deal shopper, and I carried it on too. And so did you, Catie.
Yes. I am.
It's so funny.
I love TJ Maxx.
That's the number one spot.
Yeah, since we have that, I love that. I don't buy anything. I try not to buy anything full price.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if it's a deal, it's a deal. That's my mom. Like, that's where we're going tonight. She wants to go to TJ Maxx.
I also, just because I have to share this, I remember now when we would do fashion shows, and then like as we got older, obviously we would not do them as much, but like me and Michelle would still do them. Like anytime we did, like when we started shopping like Forever 21 and like all that.
Oh yes.
And then we would do those fashion shows, and then I remember laughing so hard because we started shopping for like Victoria's Secret underwear and our bras and stuff, and we would just like think it was so funny to try to embarrass our dad.
Yeah.
And be like.
They didn't come out strutting them. They would just hold them up and like, look, Dad, look what I'm like.
You bought me 20 pairs of underwear.
Right, just
look at how cute they are. I love that.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that for sure. And I also love thinking about how uncomfortable he was in that moment, thinking of like, where are you wearing that? And Nancy, you're probably just laughing in a corner, thinking this is fantastic.
Well, with it, it's only, then they're fine. They just like to see how they could embarrass Dad. Yeah.
So since we're talking about embarrassing things, what's the most embarrassing or the funniest thing that your kids did that you still tell people about?
Which one?
We were talking about a few before we started recording. I think you have to share the
Michelle
store.
Okay.
It's not something I did, but I was there.
Okay.
Michelle and I were in the grocery store, and we're buying the groceries, whatever it was. I had a list, okay, just like whatever. Michelle wanted something else. And she was in middle school, I think you said.
So Michelle was in middle school. I'm only 2 years at. We were probably in middle school, but it might have been even I was in high school because Steph was at college. Okay. It was just me and Michelle in the grocery store with you, and I remember being in the cereal aisle.
And she wanted whatever cereal was, and I'm like, no, Michelle, you don't need that. Like, just we have boxes of cereal at home. And she just like really loudly says, "Why are we going to lose the house?"
And I'm like, I'm like crying. There's like tons of people in the aisle, Danielle. I'm like crying, laughing.
Did you feel like everyone was looking at you? Were you mad, embarrassed, or both?
Both. But I'm like, I don't even know. I go, we will talk later.
So then Michelle thought it was funny to say that everywhere we went.
I know.
She'd be like, we'd be at dinner, and she'd be like, "Are we going to lose the house if I did?" I don't know where she learned it, but like and then me laughing was egging her on to do it.
Or Catie
do you still say it? Like, is it a saying you guys still use?
Yeah, it still is.
Yes. Yeah. That wasn't embarrassing though. That was just me. Well, so like.
That's embarrassing to your mom.
I think, that was. There also was a time we went to dinner. I don't know if this was when I was working at YPC or before.
I think it was before.
It might have been before. Like, I was living the agency life. I was feeling
adult embarrassment. Okay, let's go.
And we went out to Christmas dinner, and I ordered lobster at dinner. And when the bill came, it was like $70 for these. And I was just like, yeah, it was really good. It was like, came out as like 3 lobster tails. My dad's like, are you kidding?
We did, yeah.
What did you just do?
We did.
And I thought I was
It was
so
just-
cool ordering
it was
lobster
just funny.
tails at dinner. It was so expensive.
Michelle probably got chicken fingers, and Stephanie
I ordered lobster.
probably, yeah. And you
Katie
were,
was living the bougie life back, like, you know, she's
Right.
still. Yeah, but I do think that, like, my mom mentioned this, and I want to ask what yours is, but do you feel like watching, is there anything like, obviously Katie had kids older, it's a lot different. Is there anything that she does that you, like, secretly wish, like, you could have done, or anything that she does that you're like, why are you doing this? I wish that you didn't do this.
yeah, well, no, I think everything they're doing, I look back on it, I'm like, just what we did, do a little better with, you know, for your kids, have more like time, and, you know, I don't know if I'd like, you're there
like
for Jack for his soccer
Right.
when you can be there. Like, you wish you could be at everything, and I understand you can't. And I think God, I just thought I had to be at everything. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was like, I got home, I had to, Katie, get your homework done. Sit if you want to go to soccer. You just spend the time in the moment. You got it every moment. You know what I mean? You can't look for the life for the. I don't know. I'm saying that
No,
wrong, but you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, you always wanted
Day
to
by-
have time, and
Yes.
you want us to do that as well.
You have time for the kids.
Time to
Because I know you're
spend
sad,
with
like
the
when
kids.
you can't be there, like
Yeah.
for Jack on Saturday.
Yeah.
You're like, someone's going to be there. But
Yeah.
as a mom, it pulls at, you know, your heart.
We were
And you're just
talking
like,
how this weekend Jack was supposed to have his first soccer practice
Mhm.
last week,
Yeah.
and it's going to be this week. And
Right.
me and Ryan are going out of town, and we feel really bad that we're not going to be there. But
Mhm.
yeah, like he's going to have people there. He'll be fine.
I love him.
He's not going
Right?
to remember it. But
right.
It's
You wish you could be at everything, and moms, you're just doing the best you can. Like, you
Yeah.
guys are,
Yeah.
you feel guilty all the time, but you do.
Yeah.
But
You do, and you did too, right? Even though you were there for
yeah,
everything.
there was times I couldn't be there for a couple things, and you get
Yeah.
the mom guilt is real. It's definitely
Well, I think
real.
too, the other thing is like with 3 kids, you guys have to divide and conquer a lot,
Yeah,
so you
right.
would miss more of one kid's
Mhm.
stuff. Like we always joke because my mom was like the team manager for Michelle's soccer, so
Mhm.
she always went with Michelle,
Right.
and me and my dad would always go to my stuff. So
Right.
like there were weekends where like by Friday we were getting picked up from school early to drive to. They were going to Ohio. We were
Right.
going to New Jersey. Like everyone was
Different-
every which
Out
way.
of, we were out of state, everyone different direction.
Yeah.
I started with you though. I was manager of your team, and then when you got older into then I did Michelle's, trying to share the love in a little bit, but yeah, so
It has to be hard when you have kids moving in different directions and you want to be there
right,
for all of them.
right. So just a lot of, at least one of us was
We
there.
always joked though because we got different treatments. Like Michelle would go with my mom, and she's got the first aid kit, the this,
Yeah.
the that. Like me and my dad would go, and it would be like, you packed the cooler. I know that now, but I
Yeah,
didn't
right.
think about it.
Yeah,
They had
just-
Gatorade, all this stuff, but like there was a case of beer, there was the snacks or whatever, and then like we would. When I went with my dad, we'd go somewhere and make sure that there was
Mhm.
somewhere that he could hang out, and I'd be with my
Right.
friends.
He
and
hung with the guys. There was
Yeah.
a lot of
it was just like we laughed
Yes,
that
it was.
that it was different when
Yeah.
I would go with my dad versus my mom.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could definitely see that.
Stephanie.
Is there any advice that you got from your mom or grandmothers or somebody in your life that you still carry with you today about parenting, or anything that you got that you're like, I'm going to ignore this straight out?
I see. Well, I'll talk about Mike's mom, because I mean, like, she wanted the boys to just always achieve at everything, and I'm like, it was great goals, that because all the boys did very well, all the and I see this. So I just kind of looked at it in my sense of like, what, just always be there for my girls, and like if they're having issues with something, just be a good listener. Like I would hope that they could always talk with me, and if something wasn't going right, I'm like, okay, let's figure this out, and you guys came to me a lot, I believe, Dad.
Yeah,
I mean, we were a pretty open family.
I feel like too, yeah, like we talked, Danielle, like your house was the house
Yeah.
growing up, like that everyone came to. Ours
Mhm.
was too.
Mhm.
Like people lived with. Like I had
Yeah.
2 beds in my room at one point for a friend. Like someone was living with us, kind
Right.
of
At all
always.
times.
Like Michelle always had her
Mhm.
friend that was there. I had like it was always, where
Right.
we would go.
I think as I was little growing up, I was always the one that was going to somebody else's house. and all those parents welcoming me, because that's kind of like I just was brought up in. I had some great friends. I did. And then, like, the parents scared me a little bit. I'm like, I'm here again. But so I made sure that our house was the welcome house. You know, if you were struggling in something, or your parents going through a divorce, something, Catie was very motherly, like, too. There was a drawer of clothes, whatever you needed. You leave those shorts.
Different phases of life. There was some, like,
yeah.
I remember multiple friends that just like would kind of live with us. And then in high school, me and Heather always, you let us have sleepovers during the week.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to go to, I drove really early in high school too. Like I think it was the end of my sophomore year.
Right.
I had gotten my license.
Oh, yeah, you have it. Yeah.
I went right. I had a car by the end of the sophomore year to like go and do stuff. So then I became the driver. So I was driving everywhere. And then,
mind you, it wasn't our own car. It was a family car.
Oh, yeah. It was basically my car.
Right.
I was a driver, too. They told me that if I got a job, stayed in sports, and got a certain grade level, I could have my car. But I was the driver, too. But I just think it's so funny because you say that, like, you didn't have that growing up. That wasn't your house, so you made it your house. And then, like, Catie, obviously, we feel that. And I think that's one thing that I would say I know that Catie has, like, taken. I mean, I slept in Jack's bed and Katie's come to my house. Like, you know, I was sleeping and she's like, just stay with me. I'll make it work. Like, they just set it all up. And, you know, it's just, that's kind of stuff does stay with you. So I feel like that's such like a good thing to pass on to your kids.
It also stays with me to like have everything stocked at all times. Food, drinks. We always have the fancy stuff.
You do. I was served like a queen. I had my favorite. They had break off cookies and wine for me. Catie doesn't even drink wine. So I was feeling very fancy. She does now.
You do have to tell the story from in school when I didn't bring home the letter for.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Catie is a very smart girl. But the one time she had a little note in her backpack that she forgot to share with me. And she was supposed to they asked her to go into the accelerated math program. Catie did not want to go into the accelerated math program, so she never gave me the notes.
Catie.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't take any aid. Like,
yeah, I know.
I was smart, but I didn't like overachieve.
This was fourth grade, and she hid the note.
Catie.
I don't remember I don't remember like actually hiding it or what I would have been thinking, but I could see myself being like, I don't want to be a nerd.
Well, yeah.
AP's not nerdy. It's cool, Catie.
I know, but I'm telling you.
Now you see that with Jack. Like, go be a nerd, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I had gone in because I helped out. And, you know, when the other kids were I was like a room mom where they did projects. They always called me, you know, like, okay, I can come, a PTA mom, doing all that. Yep. And the one time, I was just remembering the one teacher was like, I'm so surprised that Catie isn't, you know, she's not going to do the program. I'm like, what program?
That'd be so mad.
I'm like, what program? So I'm like, okay, well, it's too late now because it was already weeks into it. And I'm like, oops. Yeah. That was before all the parent portal stuff that you could.
Yeah, it's all paper.
This was a note in her backpack.
Catie, that was mean.
Too much responsibility for it.
Yeah. So you're blaming the teacher, not you.
The system.
The system. It's the system's fault, guys. So talking about surprises, what is one thing that surprised you, Nancy, when Catie became a mom?
Well, I shouldn't say because she's so, like, her demeanor is so calm. And I just feel like a lot of the things that she had to go through with Jack and Calvin and all that, and she just keeps the calmness. I would freak out. I would have been the freaking out mom. Yeah. And I still, like, just look at her now. She's calm. She's a great mom. You just sit there and you, like, we can't, it'll work out.
We were talking yesterday, like, so when Danielle gave birth for both kids, your mom was like there. For Jack, we weren't able.
No, nobody could
to like. I could only have Ryan anyway. Yeah. Kelvin, they definitely could have come, but then like now I'm looking back on it, I'm like, thank God nobody did come because I don't know who else would have been able to keep a cool demeanor. Right. But I can't even imagine her have been there, me getting whisked away for an emergency C-section, like that probably would have had PTSD.
Oh, I probably would have. Because my sister-in-law had to go through that, and my brother and I, it was nerve-wracking. Yeah.
So like I
So
can't.
situations like
It happened
that.
all
Yeah.
happened for a reason, but like yeah.
I'm just
Just
like,
that difference.
Yeah.
it's just you want to be there though. I'm telling you, that was the worst part of not being able to be there,
Mm-hmm.
especially for Jack. And I mean, Michelle and I, Stephanie lived further away, so she came up when she could. Michelle and I, first thing we did is we ran to Target. We're getting other clothes. We're buying stuff for
we
the
had
nurses.
we had bought
Yeah.
like 3 months because we thought Jack was going to be so big.
Yeah.
And he was in preemie clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
so
wasn't tiny. He was just, he was a pre, because he's,
I remember you guys going to Target and
Yeah.
bought all those onesies.
Right.
You guys bought food,
Mhm.
like, because we were there, and then I like didn't want anybody here. I was like, I just needed to be in my zone and worry about, that stuff. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Are there any other ways that you feel like you're different than Catie, that your parenting styles are different or the same?
I don't think it's being a boy mom or a girl mom or whatever. I don't, because I don't see really any big difference, but just the lovingly way. I think we're both a lot the same.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, being a good listener with the little ones, because when they want to tell the stories, you just have to like sit on the floor with them and say, okay, like, well, Jack, Jack, what's wrong? Like, in Calvin.
But I think you're really calm with the kids too. Like you're pretty calm.
I try to be. I'm so
you
different.
get a little frantic. This is something like different with the grandkids,
Yes,
right? Like you
this is
worry
true.
so much more.
I do.
You like don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah.
You don't like you think they're really fragile.
Right, because they're not mine. They aren't. They're my grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael always say that, like, you are so different. I'm like, I'm not different. It's just like I don't want to do anything to upset you guys, like with schedules or something, because.
Well, I think that was kind of one of our questions was like, what's different now?
Yeah.
You did it.
I didn't write things down as much. I'm like, oh, they're hungry. It's every couple hours. Now with you, I'm like, even with Michelle, I write everything down. Okay, I did this. I used to record how much they ate and to give it back to them, because you're working moms. You're coming home. I would have them one day a week, like I do with Mateo. I get him one day a week. Like, I don't know what he did the day before. Do
you think it's because they're working that you feel that way, or is this just a generational difference? Like your friends and you guys just went through it and then we're a little bit more scheduled?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's generational. I don't know.
I think it's like you want to do what we're like, you're trying to adapt what we're putting in, whether you agree or don't agree. Like,
right.
I know Dad laughs at us so hard when we had that app tracker for Jack's food. Like, my dad thought it was hilarious that we were doing that. He was like, are you kidding? Like, you guys are tracking it. You're tracking diapers in there. And then they would start leaving notes in there.
Yeah.
We had these guys in there, and then Ryan's dad would leave like emojis, like
for
describing the poop in the app and stuff. And they all thought we were nuts. Mm-hmm. Like, they were like, what are you guys making us do?
Yeah. Like, be honest. Is there anything that it don't feel like you're saying it to Catie, but like, is there anything that we all do that you guys are like, this is nuts, you guys, other than the app? Obviously, we now know.
Well, yeah, the app I can understand though, because I would appreciate it if I was a working mom. But I'm like, I don't think so. I really.
A lot of people say like the sleep sacks.
Well, that's all new. I mean, I kind of wish I had a sleep sack with Catie, because she climbed out of the crib at like a year old.
The escape.
We had to put the crib mattress on the floor. We'll put a gate on the door, because that's the one thing that is different. I will say, okay, I just thought of this. They closed the doors at night with all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a closed door person. I would put gates on the doors, and I don't know that, like, I also like lights in my house, night lights and all this, I'm not a dark person.
Okay.
We all grew up. Steph was the only one that would ever sleep with her door closed. Like,
I grew up with my door open and lights on.
Me and Michelle had our doors open.
Well, with girls, we kind of said, like, if you slam that door one more time, we're going to take the door off.
Did you ever take the door off?
No, I don't think we did.
I don't think
No, we all did it, but they also went in the cool stage that they hung all the little beads. Remember?
I love those beads. Yeah. Colton wants them now, and I'm like, I will get you those beads, bro. I saw them at like a place. Is there, because you're talking about beads, no doors, open door. Did you ever hide in a bathroom closet to get away from the kids? Like, what was your secret place?
I did not, because obviously Catie will find a pair of scissors and cut her sister's hair or something that we talked about. I didn't, because I could just I hate to say this, but I was one of those moms, like, you pop a Disney movie in or something, and I could sit with a cup of coffee. I didn't have to hide. The only time I would hide is when I was wrapping Christmas presents in the basement. And then
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was more of a wine drinker then, so they knew they couldn't come down, that mommy's just having her me time, when I was actually down there because I saved everything to the last minute and had to wrap all the presents. Yeah.
So you would just like wrap like all in one fury of wrapping.
Yeah. I
will say too, that makes me think of like other things of all girls. We were all like, you'd had to make everything equal. And we were all in the same era of things. Yeah. So like everything had to be, I mean, there were times I was always in school with somebody like we were 2 of us in high school at a time. I never didn't have a sibling like in school with me at once. And there's one year we got like, me and Steph sometimes would get the more mature gift, and then Michelle would get a little something different.
Yeah.
And it would piss her off so bad. Like she would get so mad, like full temper tantrums, Danielle, like Christmas morning. So the one specifically that like Michelle's rolling her eyes right now is telling it is that me and Steph one year got stereos for our rooms.
Oh, like the disc ones, the ones that like
they had multiple discs in it.
Those were so cool.
Yeah. It was so cool. And Michelle didn't get one. What did you get her? Something different, right?
Okay, she's going to make her the Brat Styles.
Oh yeah, she got lots of Brat Styles.
All the Brat Styles.
And Nancy, were you feeling like so excited, thinking she's going to love this? Like, what was it like when she was disappointed? Like, does it break your soul?
We took a video of her, and we have it.
It is. It's on home video.
Ryan's seen it.
Yeah,
I don't know where it is and other things, but like she would say.
She probably had a stereo by the end of it.
No, she did not. But she was just she was so mad, and she had a little speech, when she would talk to. She wouldn't call them Brat Styles or Bwat Styles.
Bwat Styles.
And I'm like, Bwats.
Yeah, the youngest kid really gets beat up on. Like, they get the brunt of it. Like, we used to call her Shark Teeth, me and Steph, because she, like, her teeth were like...
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's true. I think if you have 3, that last child gets, like, just David got abused. It was like,
Yeah, no, but she got her fair share of everything. She was right in the middle of everything, like I said. So, yeah.
Is there, like, one piece of advice that you would give us right now, like moms right now, whether we want it or not? Like, what's your best piece of advice?
Best piece of advice. I don't think about that one. Best piece, just about being a mother or
being a mom, a wife, like in this phase of life. What's the best advice you could give us?
Just enjoy every moment with your children. I mean, every day, because you're saying like, oh, you can think about the years. Like, I go back and I'm like, try not to forget everything, but every day, just live in the life of like, if Jack comes home and he's showing you a picture, take the time to sit with them and say, because it's important to them for some reason. If that one, if they want to put it on the fridge, or if like Kelvin's got a little story to tell and he's quiet, but then all of a sudden he starts talking, just be a good listener. Yeah, because
I think that's good advice.
We're so busy
for our generation.
Yeah, for all of it. And I'm like, I just still remember, even though I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was only a stay-at-home mom when they were little. I mean, I did go back to work here and there, just so you know.
Okay.
In my own life a little bit, but I was always there to make sure, like, let's empty your backpacks. What's important that you did for the day, except for the note that I missed from Catie the one time.
That was intentional. She hid that from me, Nancy, not your fault.
She just probably went through the wash or something. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know if that's just like, take every day into consideration, like just remember something, I guess, from all the times, because it flies. It goes by so fast, and then we could tell stories forever, and some of them I might not ever remember.
I know.
I don't remember the shark teeth. I really don't remember that one.
The one story we were going to talk about was the cleaning lady that we had growing up.
What?
Her house.
Well, and she also did the glam squad. She was
our glam team.
Yeah.
Wait,
that's another thing. So Danielle, when me and Michelle got a little older, we would talk about like the glam squad that would come in and get me and Michelle ready. We were like, and to this day, Michelle like still has a glam. Not anymore, but she had a glam room.
Yes.
Like
she got ready
where she would put all her stuff. But so there was a running joke as we were growing up that I think some of it started when somebody found a video and we were showing how there was like a magic basket in the house.
It was like a YouTube video.
And so
Oh, yes, the laundry basket, like it just disappears every day with the fairy. You were the fairy.
Right.
yeah, so my dad would be like, yeah, if you just put a towel in our tub, that's magic.
Right.
Like it just get like,
Just,
so then somehow you were just saying how we came up with this.
yeah,
person.
the name of the person, which I don't even know. It was
It's
probably-
fictional, obviously.
Right,
Like we
it's-
made up that there's a cleaning.
Yeah, at first I thought you were serious, but now I'm gathering that this is a dream.
Yeah.
No, her name is Dolores.
Dolores, the
Dolores.
glam squad and cleaning lady. That
Does it all.
Yeah, she
She's
does
an
it all. Right.
all in one lady.
So Nancy, is that your alter ego? You were Dolores?
Yes, I didn't realize it. Like, yeah, I'm Dolores. Yes,
I feel like we need to lean into this. Like you need to get a wig and just be Dolores.
Just a name tag.
A name tag.
Yes, a name
Which
tag.
broke everything, Danielle. There was like probably months that this went on of like everything we did. If we would leave a plate out, oh, Dolores is gonna get it. So I can imagine you getting so mad at some
And
point about
sometimes
it.
I'm like, just
being
make
like,
your
what
bed.
the
Oh no,
hell?
Dolores will get it.
That is hilarious.
It's just having, just being funny. It wasn't meant
No.
for anything. Like, listen, I didn't take it like, oh my god, these girls are throwing things everywhere. No, they knew, that helping.
We were
clean
pretty
things
well
up.
behaved. What
Yeah.
was the worst any of us got in trouble?
Oh, you could get mad at anything. All I would, can I tell Michelle's thinking chair?
Yeah.
So the only
Definitely. Michelle, sorry. This is
thing, the others,
happening.
they would just sit and I'm like, just read a book or something because you like just a little
For like
time out.
timeouts, yeah.
But Michelle, just like, being the third, she just wears on you a little bit here and there. It's hard with the two. Stephanie's trying to do one thing, Catie another, and then Michelle trying to get in the middle. Just something, whatever she would do. She had a little rocking chair, which she now has for Mateo. It was my mom's. My mom had her, refurbished all that, and it's a little wooden chair. And we just started calling it Michelle's thinking chair. Because how are you going to punish a 3-year-old or whatever she was? I'd put it there and not even in the corner, put some books, and I'm like, just, I'm not doing the timeout time because I didn't get into the 2 minutes for what I don't even know any of that.
Yeah.
Just think for a minute so I can not laugh at you because I'm seeing you. So I would one time I told her, you put that button right there and you don't move. And all of a sudden I turn around. She didn't move her butt out of the chair, but she picked up the chair
and be walking
around.
See,
with
that's
it.
amazing.
Her sister.
She was the little troublemaker.
Yeah. But I'm like, how can you not laugh at that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, how many times did you laugh when you shouldn't have?
Well, I know Catie, they do it a lot. And Michelle, they do. Like, you kind of just have to turn around. But when you're by yourself, it's not as funny.
Yeah, you don't have anyone to share it with. But when you had Catie and Steph, you could kind of laugh at Michelle with them.
I mean, sometimes I would just take pictures. Like Catie she loved getting into the dishwasher and just taking the rack out. So I've got pictures of her just standing on the open dishwasher, and she's hilarious. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I can't. We didn't have phones, so I couldn't take a picture and show her dad. Like, hey, look what Catie did.
Yeah, that's
I'll get
true.
developed and show them in 2 weeks.
And I'll get doubles. I'll get doubles of those because that's what they did when you would take them in to phase drugs or whatever. They would give you double.
Phase. I miss Phase, guys. Or were any of them actually troublemakers, or were you kind of in a situation where they were all kind of?
Yeah, they were good kids. I don't know. I mean, they would swat at each other every once in a while, but they weren't.
Michelle yelled anytime there was not a lot of hands in our family.
No.
Like we didn't fight like that. A lot of yelling.
So no hair pulling or anything.
No, Michelle wanted to be heard. So she always had a raspy voice.
She would scream.
She would scream. She had the voice of like the Demi Moore voice.
Yeah, that raspy, like would work well on a phone now,
Yeah. But
I do remember one time you guys both came to one of my soccer tournaments and you left Michelle at home with Steph.
No.
And Steph threw a party.
Oh yeah. Well, Steph was in high school. Yeah, no, she didn't throw a party. Just ask her. No, she didn't.
She's still sticking.
But she did throw a party.
And she put Michelle in her room and told her not to come out.
That is. But I'm sure Steph with her lawyer self could
You guys had known from other things.
Listen, I'm the investigator in the house. I can tell when something's been moved. I don't know.
That was a question I was going to ask, and you just answered it. Like something that they thought they got away with that they didn't. Was there ever anything other than the note from the teacher? Is there anything that Catie did get away with that she thought she got away with, but she actually didn't because you knew about it the whole time?
I have other stories about the other kids. I don't know one about you.
I feel like I told you guys everything.
Yeah, because
that's how it was.
Two kids over, they were always the good kids. So if they drove, they left their keys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You were on, for the most part, good kids.
Yeah.
Except for in the lunchroom, the one time that the one teacher told you better leave because some of her friends were ready to have a food fight.
Yeah, I had in high school. I was friends with teachers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and our like senior prank that year was to have a food fight in the cafeteria, and it was gonna start. And the one teacher that I was like friends with was like, "You should just leave so you don't get in trouble." And so I just got up and left the cafeteria and was like walking around the school and went to my teacher that's a friend now. I went to her room and just sat. She had a full class in there, and I just went and sat into the back so that I didn't get in trouble.
Katie, that's kind of crazy. No joke. That was our senior prank, and I didn't go either. I was too afraid. My teachers told me they could go. I always went to one teacher's room. It was my AP bio teacher. Not that you would know AP because you were hiding it from your mom.
She was hiding.
But I was like, I would just go hide in there, and I didn't get in trouble either, and all my friends did. So
I feel like I had a lot of car troubles. Like there was so many things with that stupid car that like the car would break down all the time. I do remember one time running out of gas with remember the Trailblazer?
Oh yeah.
But Richard brought me gas. He was
right.
following me home, and he's like, "What?" My neighbor like was following me home after we both played soccer, and he was following me home, and he's like, "Why are you pulling over?" And I go, "I don't know what's wrong." And he was like, "You ran out of gas, you idiot." Went and got gas for me and put it in. I think I called Dad.
Yeah, and that's our neighbor's son. That's what I'm saying. We're good neighbors. Yeah.
That does make a difference. Like when you have good neighbors.
I only got in trouble in college with drinking.
Okay. So, but she did what she didn't. Everybody would call her Katie Hale. Katie Hale. Everything's Katie Hale. So if she's trying to hide somebody or not, if someone keeping somebody else from getting in trouble, they didn't get in trouble, but you did.
Yeah.
And it's only because,
And that like affect you guys at that point. I was in college.
No, but it didn't hurt anything. But coach.
But a parent never stops worrying, Katie. That's just what we've learned.
That's true. We have learned.
You guys have done your fair share of little stuff, but nothing. Lessons well learned, like nothing.
That's what's important. We're all here sitting talking about it, and if they're because I know that like grandkids are a big part of life now. If there's one piece of advice, not for us, but for our kids that you could give our kids today to live with about life, what would it be?
Just everything you do, just do for a purpose. Like if you like something, like I like giving to people. I like baking, just saying like that, something like that. If you like something, do it because you want to do it, not because, oh God, you have to do it, or, be good to other people. Like I give all the time. I don't know why Mike's like, no good deed goes, and then whatever. Yeah. And his mom would say that all the time. And I'm like, if you feel good about something, do something for somebody.
Yeah.
If Katie wants to send you a Starbucks thing one day, just do it because you want to do it. I know. Not that don't
True.
Don't you think that you're going to get something in return? Because it's not, just do it because it makes you feel good. Be a good person. Yeah. That's what I always say, be good people. Yeah. That's what I'm most proud of. My girls are good people. Yeah.
Well, because you did a good job being a mom and teaching them what to do.
Well, that's what my job was.
We all get that job.
I know. Yeah, that's important. Just like you do with your kids, Danielle. I mean, you teach them to be good little people. You want them to go
that's all you can have. I remember back in the day, someone asked, would you rather have your kids be kind or smart? And I was selfish and bratty at the time. And I said smart because then they can figure out how to be kind. And then my tune, I think it was like a year later that I got pregnant. And I was like, I just want them to be kind to people. I want them to be good people.
Yeah.
And that's like the goal, right? You have kind, hearted kids.
You see enough of these kids nowadays. I don't know. I don't like when the kids are not appreciative of what they have or what's in front of them. And I've seen some kids, we're not going to mention names, just be so mean to their parents. And there's no reason for it. I mean, you can be upset and stuff what demand things. And I did not raise my girls like that. I'm appreciate what you have. There's others that don't have what you have. And
well, I think that's an important thing because we were spoiled, but we almost didn't know it because we all had to work. We got jobs. We, did those things. But then looking back, I think our new thing that in my circle anyway, we always asked growing up, when you would go out to dinner, were you a water kid or did you get to pick what you wanted?
And I got to pick. But I didn't realize that was a big deal then.
Right, you would
because we didn't have Hollister either. We had to get if I wanted my hair colored, I had to go get a job before that, my nails. But the reality of life was that like I was very spoiled. I didn't.
Right.
I appreciated it though, but I also didn't understand it.
We learned how to work and do that. And Danielle and I talk about all the time, like growing up with our dads, like running their own business and stuff has like impacted us more than we think.
Oh, yeah.
Like our brains think that way.
Right.
And like always try to figure out a way to do things. And
you work a lot like Dad does with a business sense of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is great. It's great to see that. Yeah.
But I also think the deal side of like you and my mom, like deal finders, you guys manage the household, right? Mm-hmm. And the money and like how to make it. We both know now, Catie and I know, we didn't know then, like there were really good times in business, there were really bad times in business. Right. And I feel like we never knew when those times were, mostly because our moms were there just coordinating and making sure that we didn't feel that. Yeah. You also taught us, like, if you want something, you got to go work for it. It's not going to come to you.
Yeah. I mean, Christmases were always very important, but present wise and all that, I always did a little overboard, but I was a frugal mom. Like, if your mom will know this, like they used to have layaways.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Those are important parts of it. Otherwise, I had to get that Tickle Me Elmo doll from Michelle. Who threw it on the ground right away. Didn't want it, but I was finding that. But like if you did layaways, you could go in if you found in an ad and it was $2 cheaper somewhere. You bring that in, and I would stand in line to get that $2 off.
Yep.
So a lot of parents don't have that time, which I totally understand. I'm a total Amazon.
Now, yeah.
Amazon. I'm a Walmart delivery. I get Walmart delivered.
I think you're like, yes, this is amazing. I wish I had this with kids.
You're appreciative of that stuff.
I don't want to carry that 36 case of water bottles, so I had them deliver it. Yeah.
Enjoy it. You didn't have it younger. Like, take advantage of it now.
I know, but it's okay. Mike's like, another one? Really? I'm like, I want to see if they're just going to deliver this. It's kind of cool.
She's got like a camera, seeing like what's going to happen. This is some joy.
Yep, right online. Push the little button. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to like share? Stories? Anything like that?
I think we got all our funny stories out.
Yeah, we got some good ones. We've got, appreciate all this though. Yeah, it brings up great memories because like you're trying to think back, and even my drive here today, believe me, it's cruise control, everything, but you start thinking back and then just like so many great memories. And we're still making them now with the grandkids. That's the best thing.
Grandparents are the best. I'll tell you that.
You get in different phases of your life, and I'm in another phase of it right now. And you guys will get that, also because you've gone from your married, just your married stage to your children. And now you guys are talking about summer, camps and all this stuff. And you guys were just talking about that a few weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm past that. So I'm in another stage again, but it's all so good. It's enjoy every stage that you're in. Because I mean, some of my friends are in the next part of it, after me, their grandkids are older, or they're just starting to have them. So I guess the part of it is just like appreciate where you are and what life is giving you with all the little blessings in your lives. Yeah.
Well, thanks. I love it. And, thank you for coming on. I know it's awkward at first when you like have to jump on, but you were natural.
Well, thank you for the therapy session.
That's why.
Listen, you're welcome to come to therapy anytime with us.
Yes, I appreciate it.
This is, believe it or not, with all this setup, this was cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
We're in my new studio too, by the way, and we've got 3 lights on us, and I'm still nitpicking the light in here, but we're gonna get it figured out.
My light turned off, so you get what you get.
This is amateur hour. Let's be honest.
We're nailing it.
Well,
I think it's time for us to clock out.
We clock back in, but thank you, Nancy. Happy Mother's Day.